All right, dude.
What's the next one?
What do you got next?
So Slimefoot the Stowaway is pretty dope.
Okay.
Depending on what you want to do. So he's a black and a green for a legendary creature, Fungus. Whenever a sapperling you control dies, Slimefoot the Stowaway deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. You can pay 4 and create a sapperling creature. He's a 2/3.
Okay.
So I think it needs to be said right away. There's a lot of potential for going infinite on this, right? That he fits into Gave really well. But
yeah,
if
we're
we're talking
say,
about
like Gave has a big thing.
Yeah,
with,
Gave.
with doing that.
if we're talking about just doing him as his own commander, Rings of Brighthearth and the Basalt Monolith, you have infinite sapperlings because you have infinite colorless, and his activation's 4 to activate.
Oh yeah.
So you can just spin out an infinite number of whatever, and then if they ever die, he'll deal damage to everybody. It's over.
And it's not like you're not going to have sack outlets when you're playing a Golgari deck.
True. So yeah, there's definitely that. The other piece that can set him off is if you have a doubling season where he makes 2.
Oh.
And then I think Ashnod's Altar.
Yeah, because it's 4 mana to
Right. So you pay
create.
4 to make 2.
Yeah.
Ashnod. You've got 4 back.
And then
then
Slimefoot himself will.
He will himself. Yeah.
Do the
You don't
damage.
even need the Blood Artist there.
Yeah.
So I included the Blood Artist in there, but it's
kind of
actually
superfluous.
yeah, it actually kind of is. Yeah, it's like it doesn't really actually do a lot for you to have him in the list.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the level of redundancy that's. But the way I built my list though is pretty much like what you're going for is you're just trying to make this deck as board wipe proof as you can get it.
Okay.
So what sticks out about the weird thalids, the other funguses that make sapperlings, is that they want to create spore counters, and after they reach their 3rd spore counter, you can remove 3 to make a sapperling.
Okay.
So they kind of like grow a sapperling in 3 turns.
Okay.
Right? Which is kind of slow.
That is slow.
But if you have a lot of them online, in addition to him, like you kind of have like a farm going on.
Yeah.
Like you have like a sapperling farm after a while. And I don't know if people are really going to drain removal right away for something like that. Like,
Sure.
hopefully, like there's not another deck that's pulling ahead or at the same speed that calls out a board wipe to crush all this stuff.
Oh.
But that's where stuff like Rapid Vigor, I guess, depending on what the board wipe is, Heroic Intervention, things that just kind of like save them.
Where you're like, I need to keep this in play.
Yeah, and then you don't really care about the sapperlings so much. You care about like the Thallid. So like to give you an idea, the Thallid, the Death Spore Thallid is 1 and a black. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on Death Spore Thallid. Remove 3 spore counters from Death Spore Thallid. God,
Jesus, that's a mouthful.
Put a 1/1 green sapperling creature token into play. But they all have this other ability sit typically underneath these funguses. So this one says sacrifice a sapperling, target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn.
Yeah.
So you can wipe stuff out with that.
Okay.
Let me find some other Thallids that kind of do the same thing. The
There's
Psychotrope Thallid, it's 2 and a green. At the upkeep, you get the spore counter. You remove 3. You create a sapperling. So exactly the same text, but the last bottom one is sack a sapperling, draw a card.
Okay. So I was gonna say there's the Soothsayer that has pay 2, sack a creature, draw a card. It's kind of a little less like those, but in that realm, I suppose.
Yeah, this is pay 1. You have to sacrifice a sapperling to draw a card.
Okay.
Where's another one? The Savage Thallid. So exact same text. Spore counter at the upkeep. Then when you get 3, but then it says sacrifice a sapperling, you can regenerate target fungus. So you can regenerate the commander or any of your other Thallids. So that one's good to kind of protect your stuff. The Spore Mound, which is actually a land. It's a creature whenever a land enters the battlefield, you get a sapperling.
Okay, so it's
just a
sort of
fungus
kind of
that-
like a landfall type thing.
Yeah, Spore Solar Thallid. It says remove it puts 1 on each fungus you control, so it boosts their speed at which they get the fungus counters.
Okay,
It's weird. These are all over the place. They were pretty big in Time Spiral.
yeah.
The Sporloth Ancient. So creatures you control have removed 2 spore counters from this creature. Put a 1/1 green sapperling creature. So this reduces the cost from 3 to 2.
Okay,
Isn't that weird?
that is bizarre. Then,
Yeah.
like there's the Verdaloth Ancient to kind of go along.
And then the
with
new one, the
that.
Tendershoot Dryad.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
got Ascend, but at the beginning of each upkeep, create a sapperling token, And then Saproings you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the city's blessing.
Okay.
So it's just like Saproling it's not, I don't even know if I want to say tribal. Like you're not really interested in getting them up in power. You're just getting like this critical mass.
Yeah, because you just need to use them to kind of like and have death to reap benefits.
Yeah. I put Fallen Ideal in here to kind of do an alternate way to do some commander damage.
Okay.
So it's actually a really good enchantment. I like Brad's done some work with this thing. Like I think it's a good enchantment because it doesn't really go away short of exiling it.
Yeah.
It's 2 and a black. Enchanted creature has flying and it has sacrifice creature. It gets +2/+1. So it turns them into like an aristocrat type thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They get bigger for sacrificing a creature.
Yeah, I like
But what's
that.
really cool is that when Fallen Ideal is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. So it's kind of like a Rancor type effect.
Yeah, this effect that's A, it's a sack outlet, and B, this nice effect, like you said, the aristocrat type thing.
Yeah.
Is not going away.
I'm pretty into this idea, short of the infinite.
Sure.
What's like the longest way to go? I like it. And then what really is cool about him is that he does damage. So things like Snake Umbra, it's 2 and a green. Because he doesn't say
so you can draw cards from Snake Umbra.
Right. So he's not like a blood artist in that they lose life. It's
Gotcha.
he actually deals damage to them. So Snake Umbra will let you draw cards every time a Saproling dies, and same with Keen Sense.
That's
if he gains Infect, 10 saps, it's out. So I don't know, man.
There's some ways that you can.
It's pretty cool.
That's a lot of card draw.
It's a pretty cool deck. Proliferate will do the Thallid counter, Spore counter, so Contagion Engine.
Oh, so it's helpful not just with the infect, but with getting your
with the Contagion Engine. Basically, you're making spores every turn because you start the turn with adding a Spore counter, then you proliferate. You have enough, make more Saplings. Turn goes around, you start a turn with the Spore counter. Proliferate. Like it actually kind of lights it up. Eldrazi Monument is way good with it. You basically can block it perpetually.
Oh yeah, because they're all indestructible.
Yeah, so no, it's 5 mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and have flying and are indestructible. But at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. If you can't, sacrifice Eldrazi Monument.
But you're okay with sacking a Saproling because you're going to be
pay 4 from Slimefoot to get like if you're really running low.
Yeah, like you should have something. This is a context for that one for sure.
Definitely like Plants vs Zombies. Did you ever play that game? Plants vs Zombies?
No.
Oh, it's the weirdest.
I've seen it around,
game.
but I've never played it.
That's what this feels like to me. this whole deck. So yeah, pretty good. Honestly, I really would caution against putting the infinites in the deck. It would just feel like so linear. Like just make your goal like I'm gonna get so many Saprolings that when they try to board me, it's not a good idea for one person or anybody to board me.
Yeah.
You know, because he does it to everybody. Mazarek's in there too. Anytime anybody sacrifices anything, everything gets +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
You know, it's just, I don't know.
There's a lot of benefit you can get from those.
Yeah. And then there's the ones that just make Saplings on everybody's upkeep.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I think my thoughts are kind of like sticking with what you were just describing of like, you should probably avoid the infinites if you want to have fun. I just think of,
depending on what your meta is about.
Yeah, I mean, what your meta is about. Maybe that is what you're into. But I think of Brad. He spent a lot of time with Saprolings for a little while.
With Gave.
Yeah,
but Gave like almost demands that you go in.
Yeah, he did Gave. And that was kind of his thing. He got sort of bored with that. And then he like switched over to doing Savra. And yeah, like he didn't have infinites, but Savra was kind of weird for him to try and work out. He kept us pretty controlled with Savra.
Yeah.
And then
I hated Savra. That was annoying. But that was early on, like in our run. Pure Imaginary Rascal would be pretty good too because of the counters.
that's a good.
You get 2
good point
every time. I put him in there just for the fuck of it. He's not that expensive. He's $1. The Sadistic Hypnotist really shreds the card advantage. You sacrifice a creature, target player discards 2 cards.
Discard 2.
So what sucks is you have to do that at sorcery speed.
Sure.
But if you see somebody kind of like getting that look on their face, like they're going to board wipe. But I don't know. They get punished for board wiping. Like it's not exactly great. Sure. That's what I like about this deck is that it just punishes people for killing your plants.
It's fun to have those sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And you need to decide which thing is going to be worse type of a scenario that you're presenting to your opponents.
Yeah. That's the route I took with it.
That's cool.
Cool.